Hello. Right. First thing you're going to need is to set your pistons up so they're attached. So I've got everything measured out. You've got 1, 2, 3. 3 blocks. Then you've got a T shape, like that, you see. A T shape. Right. Then you've got 1, 2. Then that. Right. On top of your T-shape, we've got rotor heads. So you go to your rotors and you choose rotor head, rotor part, and it's one of them. Okay, you've got 3 along the top of your T. Then your pistons, we've got 3 pistons. 1, 2, 3. Attached to there, yeah. Then a block on top of the piston, and then a rotor attached to the block. Right, now I'll show you how to set this up. Right, so when you first set it up, don't do your second T, just start with your first. So you'll end up with something like this. Right. Right. You've got a gap of 2 between that one row and this. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 high. Get a piston. If I can find it. Right. And pop it on. Like that. That's your first piston, this one. Then you go into your menu. Hold on. You're going to need a battery. And you're going to need an antenna. Right. So you go to your first piston, which you've just placed, and you name it. So you choose the piston there, you go into the name, right, and you give it a name. So you'll see there's the 3 there, right? I've got center piston, left and right. Okay, so I've named them 3. So it's left, center, right. Okay. And then what you do is you get a block. I use these ones. Pop that on the end. Then you get a rotor. Doesn't matter where it's positioned, as long as it's straight up like that, right? Then that rotor, you're going to name it as well. So that would be there. You'd go across and you'd name it. So as you can see on the other ones, I've got centre rotor, and I've got rotor left, rotor right. Okay. So you've got your 3 pistons in, bang bang bang. You've got your 3 rotors, bang bang bang. And you've got this gap here. So then what you do is you knock the head off the rotor. Like that, right? Then you build your T. Right. So you've now got that set up like that. Then what you do is you get the rotor head, pop that in. So you go bang bang bang, you'll have 3 straight across like that, right? That'll give you this. Then what you do, we'll get rid of this now. Because we'll concentrate on the one I've already built. So we'll get rid of that. Okay. So you've named your pistons and your rotors. You take your left and your right piston and you group it. Okay, so you go along to there and you block group and you would name it. I've named mine outer. Them 2 are outer, right? Velocity, knock it up to maximum velocity. Okay, leave the max min, get your max impulse up and your max non-axis and axis impulse. Just put it up about that much, right? So your pistons would look like that, each one, all of them, even the centre one. So the centre piston, exactly the same. Max velocity, maximum distance, minimum distance 0, max impulse. Right? So you've named them all, you've got them all lined up like that. Then what you do is you go into your groups. So you've grouped everything up, you group your rotors as well, so your left and right rotor, you group that together, and I've called them outer rotor. Okay, so that's my left and right, that's my centre rotor, that's my centre piston, that's me left and right piston, that grouped. So, right, just to show you, so you've grouped it, right? Now if I centre rotor attach, your outer rotor attach, it's already attached, so I'll detach it, right? You would hit attach, right? But as you can see, the outer piston, when I hit reverse, both of them move together, right? But for now, what you want to do is attach all your pistons via your rotors. So them outer rotors I need to attach, right? So you end up like that. That's all attached. That's all in like that. Okay? Then what you do is you detach your center rotor. Right? So you go to detach, and then you go to your center piston and you hit reverse. Right? Then you build your next T. So it's 3 blocks away from that. Then your next T, and you put your rotor heads on. Now when that's stretched out, what you do is you go back into your panel and you find your center rotor and you attach. Right? So that's your first bit there. That's your actual lift mechanism. Everything's attached. So them two are attached to these rotors. That one's attached to this rotor. Okay? So that's finished. Next thing you do is you put row blocks along your bottom there. Where your bottom here, put a row of blocks along there, 3 blocks, and then you add three hinges, like that. Then you go in, and you name your hinges. Right? So these are, I call these the track hinges. Right? On the other one. So you've named your hinges. Right? Delete them 2 heads. And then put a row of blocks across like that. Then go back to hinges and you choose hinge part. Looks like that. Pop that in. Like so. And you go to your hinges. And the same as your rotors, you hit attach. So them 3 hinges are now attached. So you take your hinges and you create a group. So I'm going to call this track. Hinge. That's created the group, right? So we track hinge. Then you go into here. You put your torque to max, your braking torque to max, your lower limit change to 0, your upper limit you change to 0. Right? And then what you do is you build off that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8 blocks. And from this end I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. Then I've got 6 timer blocks. Your timer blocks are there. That's your timer block, right? So I've got 6 of them there. Okay, so that's that bit built. Next bit you do is this. So once again, pop a hinge at the top there. So it's going to be in line with the center piston. Like so. Right. Then pop a block on that. So you've got a row of blocks like so. Right. Then you go into your control panel and you name your hinge. Now this hinge you call ramp hinge. Well, that's what I've called it anyway, ramp hinge. Okay, that's ramp hinge. Then you do exactly the same as you did with your bottom ones. You knock your torque up to full, your braking torque up to full, your lower limit to 0, your upper limit to 0, right. Now what I've done is, now this bit's up to you. You can either build it with blocks, but this is going to be your platform for your lift. So this has to be the size you need it. So if you want a big one, you'll have to build a dirty big platform off that hinge, right? But I'll put timers in there. But what you need is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You need 8 more timers. So you've got 6 there. You need another 8. You can put them in there if you want, right? But I've just happened to put them there, right? So that's your ramp. Then you pop a switch thing on there, right? And you just leave that level for now. So now you've got your piston set up. Get rid of that. You've got your base, and you've got your ramp, your lift, your elevator itself, right? So that bit's finished. And remember how many timers you need. You need 6 plus 8, right? So that's your first bit done. Next bit, you need to build track. So your track is 3 blocks, and on the 4th one, build a T, right? And put 3 rotor heads along there. Then build the next one, 3 blocks. On your 4th block, build a T, put 3 rotor heads. Now this second one, mark it in a different colour, right? Then what you do is, oh, it's fell off again. You paste your track in to the length you need it, right? But always finish with a yellow one, or a red one, or whatever colour you do it. Just finish with that. So you like that, okay? Now that's your track. Then what you do is 1, 2, halfway between the third one, build 2 blocks out, 1 block up, and put a sensor there. Now that sensor I've called Rev Stop Sensor. Okay, that means reverse stop. So that's the lift's on its way down, it's reversing, and that's a stop sensor. So just plant that there. The settings I've given it is the minimum on left, right, bottom, minimum on top, minimum on back, and 9.2 on front. Right, detect players on, detect floating objects off, detect small ships off, detect large ships off, detect stations off, detect subgrids on, asteroids off, and just leave them ones. Okay, that's that sensor. Then you go along to the end of your track, wherever the end of your track is, right, between the last one and the second last one, just pop a sensor in there, right, and that sensor I've called Stop Sensor. Okay, and that's the same minimum, 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 all the way to front, 9.2. Detect subgrids on, then leave that at that. Okay, so that's your track, your elevator setup, and your 2 sensors for stopping. Right. What I would do is keep a copy of that bit there, keep it as a blueprint, and then if you need to extend your track, you just paste it onto the end. Take the sensor off if you've put one on, and stick a sensor on there, whichever one's the end one. Alright. Now then, next bit you need to do is program it all to work. So we'll go through this one, get rid of that. Now I found the sensors are a bit finicky because the lift you were looking at on that video, the guy who did it on PC, I think he uses scripts, so he doesn't have to worry about sensors and stuff like that. It's all scripted, I believe, anyway. I could be wrong, but the sensors are a bit finicky with this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Now what I've done on here is on this first piston I've stuck another block on the end, and I've stuck that rotor head. So that rotor head should go into the sensor field when it passes. Right, now let's talk about programming your timer blocks. Now hopefully you'll have watched Darren's videos and you've got an idea of different things on the timer blocks. So first thing you need to do is set your timer blocks out. need to start your cycle. So you need 6 timer blocks. I've named them step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, right? And then you need 6 reverse timer blocks. So rev step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. You need a timer block for your stop sensor, and you need a timer block for your reverse stop sensor. You need an outer lock, which is me 2 outer pistons, and you need a center lock timer. Okay. Now we'll start with your sequences. So on step 1, a delay of 1 second, so it's the minimum. Okay. You set up your actions. What you do is your outer rotors, you're detaching them. You're setting off step 2, and you're switching on your stop sensor. Bear with us, I need to cough. Okay. So what you do is obviously, I'll take this outer rotor off. Right? So you've grouped everything. So when you go into groups, right, you go to your outer rotor, press A, and you go down to detach, press A again. That puts it in there. Then the timer block starts step 2. So go to there. The timer blocks aren't in groups, but you've named it, so you should be able to find it. So you need timer block step 2, which is that one. Press A. In this one you're going to start. Right? And your stop sensor is that one. Press A, and it's toggle block on. That's step 1. Step 2, delay of 1 second. Your actions are your outer pistons extend, your center piston retracts, and you start step 3. So you detach these 2, these go up, this one's still attached, this goes down and drags the whole thing up, right? So that's step 2. Now step 3, a delay of 2 seconds. Your outer rotors attach. Okay, so it's outer rotors attach, and then start step 4. Step 4, delay of 1 second. Center rotor detach. Center rotor detach. Start step 5. Time block 5, delay of 1 second. Action, center piston extend, outer pistons retract. Start step 6. Step 6, delay of 2 seconds. Action is center rotor attach. Center rotor attach. Timer block step 1, start. Okay, so that's a loop. And then on your reverse steps, step 1, delay of 1 second, actions, center rotor, detach, center rotor, detach. Step 2, start, Rev Stop Sensor, toggle block on. Step 2, delay of 1 second, actions, center piston, retract, outer pistons, extend. Start step 3. Step 3, delay of 2 seconds, set up actions, center rotor, attach, center rotor, attach, start step 4. Step 4, delay 1 second, set up actions, outer rotors, detach, outer rotors, detach, start step 5. Step 5, delay of 1 second, set up actions, center piston, retract, outer pistons, extend, start step 6. Step 6, delay of 2 seconds, set up actions, outer rotors, attach, outer rotors, attach, start step 1. Okay, so that's your 2 cycles. Now, your stop sensor timer block, and your first stop sensor, you delay 1 second, set up actions, switch off the stop sensor. So, go to your stop sensor, toggle block off, right? Then center lock timer block, start, timer block step 6, stop, timer block step 1, stop. So you go to step 1, stop, step 6, stop. Right, now center lock timer, which is the one in your sensor timer block, delay of 2 seconds, set up actions, set up actions, go to groups, center rotor, attach, and your center lock timer block. Your outer lock timer block with a delay of 2 seconds, set up actions, outer rotor, attach. Then your Rev Stop Sensor. Rev Stop Timer Block, should I say. Delay of 1 second, set up actions. You're turning off Rev Stop Sensor 2. toggle block off. Now what I've done is I've grouped all my sensors, all my timer blocks for the reverse, and I've called it Rev. Okay. Because I want to stop all them blocks at the same time, because this is where it's getting a bit finicky. Rev stop timer block. Then what you do is you go to Rev timer block, and it's trigger now. So you find Rev, in groups. So it's Rev, trigger now. So what happens there is it stops every single timer block that's running. So it's like a break. And then the outer lock timer block start. So what you're doing is, instead of sequence 1 on your reverse sequence, you're instead putting out the lock on start. Now on your Rev Stop Sensor, set up actions, and it's Rev Stop timer. So you go to actions, find your Rev Stops timer. It's hard to say that, Rev Stop timer. Rev Stop timer, and you would select trigger now. Right? And on your stop sensor, set up actions, and it's your stop sensor timer block, trigger now. So that's your Rev Stop, that's your stop sensor timer block, and you would hit trigger now. Right? So I believe that's all your sensors set up. Right? Then what you do is you go into your switch, right, and set up button 1 to activate step 1 timer block. Okay? And you set button 2 to activate Rev Step 1 timer block. And you name it up for the first one, down for the second. Then what you do is you test it. So we'll let that carry on. Now, because of the way this is set up, you can have your elevator along the roof. Obviously you wouldn't have your switch up here because that would be bloody stupid. Your switch would be down here. Take it along the roof like that. See, works upside down just as well as it works the right way up. You could have it sideways on like that, see? just setting this up. We're just testing it at the minute. Make sure it works. Stop timer block. Trigger now. I had it on start instead of trigger now, so I think that's where a lot of me issues are coming from. Center lock. Right. So, if you've set everything up right, that's what you should end up with. It stopped itself at the end. That one stopped itself at the end. And you've got to test it on the way back and make sure that other sensor works. Set the bloody thing off. Right. So we'll let that run. You see, it's not as fast as the other one because the other one's in small grid. The small grid pistons are quicker than the large grid pistons, but they're not as strong. So these large grid pistons, it's set up here, could carry a canny bit of weight. So if you wanted to sort of carry trucks and things like that across, it's perfectly viable with this. When this stops, hopefully it'll stop properly because I've been having bother with that sensor. So we'll make sure this stops, and then I'll show you how to set up your angle for your platform. As you see, works perfectly well, no matter which side it's on, upside down, back to front. As long as you put enough strength in the pistons, you'll be fine. If you're going to carry a lot of weight, what I would do is give it an extra second on your steps. 3 and 6, so I'd make them 3 seconds or 4 seconds on 3 and 6 for reverse, and on 3 and 6 on the other one. Just add time to that, because basically what you're doing is you're giving it a chance to lock on before it moves anywhere. Right, that stopped nicely. Right, so now what you do, that one stopped, and that one stopped. See? Everything's working perfectly fine. Get rid of that because it's in the way. So what you do is, for your angle, you're going to start by moving this. So you go to your, what did I call it, ramp hinge. Set it to 45 degrees. You'll have to experiment which way it's going to go. But I know mine's going there. So you put full torque, full braking torque. Doesn't matter about the velocity. I'll put it up a bit. So it's 45 degrees. Okay. Upper limit 0, lower limit 45. Now, if you put the hinge the other way around, your lower limit will be 0 and your upper limit will be 45. Alright. So that's your ramp hinge. And then your track hinge. Exactly the same, 45 degrees, right? So imagine you've got your tunnel going up 45 degrees, that's your lift, right? So what you would do is, when that's in your base, you would build your flow off that, right? Or what you can do is, add another timer or switch. What you do is your ramp. Just reverse it, so then you can either walk up it or you can drive up it. And then, so this switch here, put ramp. Hinge, reverse. Do that. That will put you straight. Yeah. Then you press. That'll take you on your angle to go up your tunnel. Gone. See, keeps it straight. You would have whatever your cargo or whatever you were doing parked on top of that. You could possibly put another ramp here that closes up. It's up to you what you do with this bit. But as you can see, concept sound works. As long as you get all the timers set up properly. Sensors set up properly. Don't arse up like I did before. You'll be absolutely spot on. You can make your track as long as you want. Just don't forget, put a sensor there, where it ends. And when it gets to the top, obviously you'll build whatever you've got on the top. So it will be level with the off ramp. Yeah, so it will be level with that. But that's all you need. So hopefully that's helpful. And keep smiling. Carry on.